Welcome to day 24 of the Query Coding Challenge. In today's challenge, we are instructed to select the transaction type key and transaction type, where the second letter in transaction type is a lowercase vowel, A, E, I, O, U, Y, or W. We are using the wide word importers database and the transaction type table. So I feel like this seems like one of the challenges we've done in the past. So let's head over to Power BI and see how that works out. So the first step, as usual, is to connect to your data source. So I'm using the recent data source. Select the wide word importers database. And just to confirm, we are using the transaction type table. That should be down here. Oh, dim transaction type, that's a dimension. Click on transform to load the data. Click on OK to import the data. So we have imported the table that we want to use. The instruction says to select the transaction type key and the transaction type. So we can just reference these two tables, or we can just copy them, as I like to do most of the time. Just copy the two columns, transaction type and transaction type key. Go back to Power Query and just open a square bracket and paste the two columns that you've copied. Make sure that you remove the and. Let me expand this to see what is happening here. Oh, Control C. So instead of and, we put a comma, and this is fine. So now we have the transaction type. We have the transaction type key. The condition says that we should, each of the transaction type here, we should select the ones that contains these vowels from A, E, O, and it should be the second letter, right? So the way we can go about this is to first of all get this transaction type as a list. So we're going to add a new step, and we're going to just get a transaction type column, and this is the result is going to be a list. And just to be safe, I don't think there's any duplicate here, but just to be safe, I can just say list distinct, just in case maybe there's a mistake in the database. Now we have duplicate values, and now we have the list of all the transaction type. Now we have the list of all transaction type, and we want to make sure that they contain the list of those vowels, right? So we need to extract the second, for each of these items, we need to extract the second character. So to do that, let me come here, rename these steps to transaction type list, transaction type list. Then we can insert a new step that the intention here is to extract the second, for all the text that comes, where the second character is. What am I saying? What I want to do here is to extract the second character, each of these text, right? And if it's a vowel, we select that text. So what we'll be doing here is transaction. Where are we? What do we do? I've not solved this problem, so I'm just working through it to see how it's going to work. Let me see now. We should be using list transform. Yeah. But instead of transform, why don't we do list select? Let's do list select. List select. I just want to select the list that meets that criteria, right? So after list select, the next is the selection function. So we do each of this item, we want to, for each item here, we want to do text dot, let me see, text dot before, text dot after, text, let me see, text extract. There's no text extract. Okay. And there should be text at. Yeah, I think this should be it. Text at returns the character at the specified position. So text at should be what we want. We want it at the, referring to the current item, we want it at position 1 or 2. Does it count from 0? So index as number. So if it's 0, 1, so this should be 1. Is, let's see, contains any. So we have to reference the values that we want to check. So we do list contains, list contains. Yeah. So we need to pass the list of the vowels that we've been given. Yeah, let me go back to Power Query, to PowerPoint rather, copy the vowels. Then go back to right here. So I'm going to pass the vowels as a list. And we have to use double quotes, not single quotes. Let me rush through and edit that. I wish there's find and replace. That will make my job super easy, or except if I do it outside our query. Yeah, so we do lists contains, pass the list, we pass the value. Yeah, contains this value. So if this is true, this is going to work. Let me think. So let me see if it's supposed to work. So I'm passing the list. I'm iterating through that list. I'm checking if the present value in that list, which is this, for the present value in that list, I'm extracting the second item. Then I'm checking if this values here contains the second item that has been extracted. That is true. I want to select that item. Work. It worked. Yes. So, oh my God. So it worked. This is all. This is you. This is you. Yes. Then this is you. This is you. This is you. You. Yeah. So this is working. So I didn't try this out before recording, right? I just picked up my laptop and started recording. So let me rename this to contains vowels. I call it vowels. How do you spell vowels? Yeah. But I need to be sure though. So I see unknown is not here, so that's fine. Let me search for something and see. You. This is T. This is T. This is T. You. Oh, that's fine. And just to confirm, let me show that that's what the condition says truly. We had a second letter in transaction type is the lower case vowel. Okay, exactly all the they are lower. Oh, let me be sure. Lower case vowels. So this is awesome. This is awesome. Yeah, I think this is good. This is really good. So up next, we need to now filter the table, right? Such that the values in the table are limited to just this list of values that we've selected. So we can just click on X, and this time around we want to use Table.Select. rows. Yeah, and the table here is dimension table type, I believe. Go to this and let me see. Oh, select rows. Then we need to pass the condition where we want to select the rows, right? So we'll say each. We're going to use the same idea we used earlier, where we say list contains. This time around, we're going to pass the values, the contains wells. That's the list of values we want to check. Then we want to reference the present column that we are looking at. The name of the column is, I believe, the name of the column is transaction type. Transaction type. Then click on OK. We can convert the value of type list to, oh, this should not be here. I didn't notice I repeated this twice. This should be contains vowels, not list contain. Contains vowels. I should be getting a suggestion. Contains vowels. Vowels. Yeah. Then click on OK. And our problem is solved. And I think I like this challenge because if you notice carefully, we did the same thing twice, really. So if you go back to the contains words we looked at the list and we selected from that list, right? When this condition is met, we pass the list and the value we want to check. Then up next, we came back and did the same thing, but instead of list select, here we're doing Table.Selectrows. The logic is still the same thing, just that in one step we're working with a list and in another one we are working with a table, right? Yeah, so that's it. I'll rename this to selected rows, and this solves our problem. But there's one more thing, we need to be sure that query folding is working fine. So we go to this and boom, query folding is working. So it uses a weird transaction type in. Yeah, that's cute. Solves our problem. Okay. Okay, so that's the end of today's challenge. Pretty straightforward. I was hopeful I could solve this without trying it out first, and I did. So that's really good. So thank you for following along, right? This is the end of the challenge for day 24. So if you've not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you've not liked this video, like the video, you can share it with your friends as well. And I have a video that is coming up on customer cohort and retention and churn analysis with Power BI. So I just finished recording that video before I recorded this video. What I have to do next is to edit that video and upload it. So I'm going to be uploading the videos in parts because the video is kind of long. And if it's too long, you might lose interest easily, right? So I'm going to be uploading it in parts, maybe every 2, 3, or 4 days. Then you can follow along. So subscribe to the channel so that you don't forget to get notification. What am I saying? Subscribe to the channel so that you will get notification from where the videos come up. Thank you very much and see you tomorrow.